Okay, we're going to get this show on the road and post this as soon as possible. This is the latest we've ever recorded a show for horse racing, and you probably figured out the reason why we are recording the show at 2:30 Eastern on Saturday, the 25th, is because of the fact that, as you know, Chad is in Saudi Arabia. What you may not know is that Chad under the weather. So I don't bad enough that he could not do the show. So I'm sure there's a lot of Chad fans that might be turning off at this point, but that's just the case. And I needed to hold on as long as I could to find out whether or not there was going to be any way possible to bring Chad on, but just couldn't figure out a way to do it. And the main thing now is for Chad to get healthy. Hopefully he is. Hopefully he has a safe trip back to the U.S. And we've got a lot of big races to cover starting next week. With what do we have next week? We have the Gotham, I believe, and the Fountain of Youth. I think those are the two top races next week. And there's also some really good ones at Santa Anita, including the Grade 1 race, the Frankie Kilroy Mile. So hopefully Chad will be back, ready, and set to go next week. So what I'm going to do is to try to go over these two races as fast as possible, because look, bottom line is I have to pay for the sheets myself. So and I have no problem doing that. If you're looking, as we've said many times before, I've preached the sheets, the reason why I keep doing it, and I can't handicap races anymore without them. So go to thesheets.com, order yourself some sheets. It's a $15 minimum. So I picked out the two races this week out of the three that I purchased. And I figured, look, I'm not just going to not do a show. At least let me get you some of this information that I have and that I purchased. And then hopefully we can pick some winners coming up, starting with the race. Both races, by the way, as you could tell, at Oaklawn, starting at 5:43-ish. And that's going to be the 1.16 mile race, the Honeybee Stakes. It's a grade 3 at, yes, Oaklawn. And this is for filly 3-year-olds. So my picks here are going to be 1, 2, and 7. And 1 is effortlessly Gant. Effortless Legant. Let's see if there's a trick way to do this. Effortless, Lye, elegant. No way. Effortless, whatever. Right. So anyway, I'm going to use this horse as my top money play because of the and I see it's look, we don't have a distance deal here that we can count on. You've got the two races so far that the one has put out. Both have been at 6 furlongs. Now you're looking for a bigger effort. That's definitely a problem. I get that. But we did go from a 19 to a 14. That's pretty impressive. Won the second race, the 14, at Oaklawn. So that's important. I didn't really find any other long shots that I felt comfortable with. So that's the reason why I decided that this would be the one to go with. But why not when you have a rider in Santana that's having an excellent meet and a trainer that's just going crazy right now? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a trainer, even though it's only been through 19 starts, that has been over 50% in the money. So that's as hot as you can get. Combination with that, hey, look, he believes it. So if Norm believes that this horse can go with the distance, why am I to complain? And I'll take that 20-1. Okay, now the 2 is actually going to be, as I said, that's going to be my other pick, Towhead. Towhead, very impressive so far, 8 out of 9, as you can see in the money. Also, most important, last race was at Oaklawn at this distance, won the race pretty easily, and the 16 was the best we've seen so far from Towhead. What I like is I'm not worried too much about bounce because it's been a little over a month since the last race, so that's fine. Ran a 17. That one was actually the race, I believe it was the last turf race for Towhead in October. That was early October, the 17. But most of Towhead's races have been in the 20s. So, but at least we got the 117, even though it was on turf. 9-2, I'd like a little bit better than that. But as we're going to see going into this race, there's just not a lot of top horses in my mind to compete with compared to what we're going to get in with race 11 coming up here in just a minute. But again, you got a horse that has won 2 straight, and that's 8 out of 9 in the money with a good trainer. I just felt that coming off that 16, maybe this is, and by the way, also, if you look at it, the last 4 races that this horse has ran on the dirt, he has improved each time out to the 16 last month. The 3 Grand Jury, the reason I'm discounting Grand Love is because of the odds at 3 to 1. See, that's the reason why I think this is going to be one of those races that you're just going to want to check the odds and go there. Because I might very well look at Grand Love if I'm getting odds at 5 or 6 or 7 to 1, but not at 3 to 1. By the way, this is Asmussen, who's going to have a busy couple of races here. 16, first time out, very good. Broke maiden, first start. Bounced, okay, that's going to happen to a 20 in the grade 3 race at Churchill. But then the last race, an 18, that's okay, but wanted better than that. Okay, you want a little bit better than that considering ran the 16 first time out. That was one of the Breeders' Cup Juvie races, though, so a lot of competition. Just didn't really hit there. So I can see why the horse is 3 to 1, though. You know, when you got Rosario and Asmussen coming off a Breeders' Cup Juvie race, hey, let's put Grand Love at 3 to 1. But I think there's other horses based on the sheets that I can go with instead of rolling the dice on Grand Love at 3 to 1. Gambling Girl is 12 to 1. You've got an excellent combination of Pletcher and Irad Ortiz Jr., but the problem here is Gambling Girl has never raced better than 17. That was the race in December at Aqueduct. That's it. The last race in December. Came back again at Aqueduct in January last month, ran 20. So that's why you're getting 12 to 1 with Irad Ortiz Jr. and Pletcher. How often are you going to get Irad? See, I will say this. In a race like this, if I'm looking for a long shot or somebody to just come out of the blue and do something, if I could get 12 to 1 on Gambling Girl in this race, maybe I'll throw a couple of bucks on a straight bet, because I don't want to sit there in a race and I'm not really finding, oh, I love that horse, or I love this play, and then all of a sudden I look up and I lose a 10 to 1 shot or a 12 to 1 shot with a Pletcher Irad Ortiz Jr. combo. So I'll play that horse in some way. Condensation, the 5 horse, was interesting because you've got a hot trainer, had an excellent meet. I mean, over 30%. Hartman doing a great job. The rider Arietta is also having a strong meet. That's a good combo, and you're getting 12 to 1. By the way, Hartman took this horse over in late December. And so you had the upgrade, the trainer upgrade, and you see the results, okay? Not just a runner-up and a win, because that doesn't really, that's not the indicator, because before the trainer changed, the horse had 3 starts, won them all. But the 3 starts were 23, 21, 16. So the 16 was fine. But the first start under Hartman, which was the runner-up in December, that was only a 21. But the good news is that he's steadily gotten better. 21, 19, 17. So this is another horse like the 4 that I'm saying, all right, if I'm getting 10 to 12 to 1 odds, I'm thinking about it. But here's the problem that you have to contend with, which you can see on the form, and that is that this horse will be racing 3 times in a 6-week span. That is really tough. That's a big ask. But I'm sure that's the reason why you're getting 12 to 1. So, again, those 2 horses right there, the 4 and the 5, are legitimate long shot plays if you're going to get decent odds. The 6 is a long shot that I just don't think, if I'm looking for long shots, that's not going to be one of them. D. Wayne Lucas, this is his horse. Best he had were 2 15s in his first 3 races. That's really nice. The problem is he hasn't had anything but an 18. That's his best since then. Last start at Oaklawn Park when he ran 4th. He's only got 1 win in 8 starts, so definitely prefer the 4 and the 5 long shots. The 7, now this is going to be my top choice, Wet Paint, the 7 to 2 shot. The only thing I'm concerned with, or the main thing I'm concerned with, is this horse has never ran on a fast dirt track. Now, I haven't checked the weather. Probably should have done that, so just keep that in mind. You've got the Pratt Cox combo, which is awesome. ran the 15 the last time out on synthetic last year. That was a high after the 222s. Came back the next race, did not bounce, which was nice. Changed surface, though, because, again, that was synthetic. Went back to dirt, ran the 22 on dirt in October, runs the 14 here at Oaklawn at this distance, and that's the first time Pratt was on board, got the win. So this is the horse I feel the most comfortable with. But you do have to keep in mind, of course, as I mentioned, I would only guess it would be a good thing that, and you would, but you never know. Sometimes horses are just better on off tracks. All right, the 8 is Defining Purpose, the 9-2 shot. I just felt that there were other options because the odds were only down to almost 4-1 here. 215s in the last 3 starts. Nothing overly impressive. Solid, okay, compared to the other horses in this field. But again, when I'm comparing the other horses, I've got better trainer rider combos. The 15 last time out, not overly okay. Is there anything that leads me to believe that this horse is going to do anything better? See, the reason why I wasn't totally sold is because you got 22, 17, 15 to start. And after the 15 comes back to a 17. Not sure why that happened. Got a win, though. Moved back up to a 15 last start, but finished third. So that wasn't very good. And keep this in mind, too. The third, a little bit more distance. Okay, but you also have to calculate in the track, off track. So there's a few things there that if this horse were to win and come through, okay. No, I wouldn't sit there and go, I'm shocked or surprised. There were just a few things there that I was just not totally in tune with, but I could definitely see Chad or John come up with something where they go, hey man, the reason I like this horse is this, and they might have something, but yeah, just, I don't know why, just for me, it just didn't hit, but hey, if the odds got better, maybe it would be for me, but I don't know. That's the thing. If I'm gonna have to give up 4-1 or close to that, I'm gonna look elsewhere. Not overly blown away there. Then there's a reason. And the other horse is really 9 Boss Lady Bailey at 12-1. Best was at 18 last time out at Oaklawn Park, so I guess that's good. But if anything, I mean, I guess you could get a bounce from that. Why not? You know, it hasn't even been it's actually been about a month, but the previous best was a 21. So yeah, I've got better long shots. The 10 is a 20-1 shot. First 3 races went really nice, 19, 16, 15. But then at a 25 last time out, I think we could do one of those lines that we draw through that. A couple of things, though. Trainer change, and statistically, this is not so good, but I wouldn't really worry too much. We know Dallas Stewart can train. But you're also coming from a completely different track. This horse has never been outside wherever RP is. I'm not even sure. I don't think I've ever done RP before. Have I done RP? I don't even think so. Yeah, I don't even think I have. That's like one of those minor league tracks. So anyway, and we always frown upon the horses coming in over from minor league tracks. And then you have the 11 Olivia Twist, and Olivia Twist. The best we've seen in 4 races are 3 18s and a 19. The 19 was the last time out, not even a month ago. So the 3 wins were all 18s once again at RP. Comes over to OP, Oaklawn, and runs a 19, runs a worse race, and finishes 5th. So maybe that's what I'm seeing here with the 10. You know, come over from RP and you're actually going to go backwards. But the 12 was another one of the long shots that I was considering, Taxed. First time from Burano, but the trainer not having a good meet, that's an issue. But you take, and you look at the 14 last time out, and that's excellent, especially considering it was at Oaklawn and at this distance. The problem is, I guess you could say it was a 14, because the previous best was a 19. So you're looking at a definite bounce candidate. Again, and by the way, finished second, just 2 lanes back to Wet Paint, the horse I like in this field. And you're getting 15-1. So But I could easily sit there and go bounce with this horse. But at least I'm getting 15 to 1. I would say if I'm looking at the long shots I'm not playing, I would do 4, 5, and 12. And in the order in which I'd probably go as far as which way, I would probably go with the 5. That'll probably be my top of those 3 long shots that I would go with. Even though, again, I might actually put a couple bucks also on the 4 and the 5. But the 1, 2, 7 is how I'm going to go, and the 1 is the one I'm leaning towards for the long shots. The 2 and the 7 in an exact in some way, but 7 is going to be my win bet, and hopefully I can get somewhere between 3 and 4 to 1. Again, you can get the double in this as well, which I think could be very advantageous. So let's go with the Rebel Stakes. Again, look, same distance as race 10, grade 2, $1 million purse. We're on the Kentucky Derby Trail here. And I narrowed down 6 horses that I initially started with to the 3 and a couple long shots. 5, 6, and 1. So that's how I'm going to go with the Rebel. 5, 6, and 1. And the 2 long shots that I'm going to try to throw in there to make some money are the 8 and the 9. So the 1 is the favorite of the race, and everybody's thinking, okay, this is Verifying's race, and I can see why. You know, the owner paid big money for the horse, ran a Breeders' Cup race, did not go well. Now, here's the thing. That race was the worst race, ran a 15. And it was also the only race that this horse has ran this distance. The other 3 races were a mile, and 6 furlongs. 11 last time out, and 2 12s. So that's the one that we have to kind of doubt, because anytime that we look at a heavy favorite, we have to try to find holes. That's the hole, is that maybe the horse doesn't prefer the distance. Maybe not. But look, 1 for 1 at Oaklawn. Last race was the 11, the best race, and you've got Cox, you got Giroux, 2 to 1. I think the horse is going to go off as the favorite, and I hope so based on the line, because again, I'm going to look for someone else to win this one. Let's stick with that, and go with the 5, okay? Because I'm going to go with Giant Mischief, who's the second choice. You got Cox and you got a Red Ortiz Jr., so you got a Cox, both horses. I think you got pretty much a wash with the riders. What I like about Giant Mischief is, if you take a look at Verifying, in the 4 races, the best we've seen is an 11. And 3 have been on a fast dirt surface, so no issues there. So there you go, 12, 12, 11. Giant Mischief has been on a fast dirt track 3 times as well. And 2 of them, the last 2, 10, 8. So I've got a big edge here with Giant Mischief in the last 2 races. Now, the difference is that Verifying does have the 1 race over a mile. Giant Mischief hasn't attempted that yet. Okay, but this is not in a Breeders' Cup race. It's still a good one, but it's Breeders' Cup, different type of animal. No pun intended. So we don't know what's going to go on there. But the sheet line is very nice. And who knows? I don't know who's going off, but I don't care who goes off. It's going to be pretty close. I'm going, based on what I see with the sheets, I'm going with Giant Mischief in this one as the top choice. My second choice is actually going to be Reincarnate. The number 6 horse is close to 4 to 1 at 7 to 2. This is the Baffert horse. He's in a round. He's over in Saudi Arabia. Didn't win the Saudi Cup. John Velazquez is on board. So you know what you got here. You got a ready-made horse that's definitely ready to compete hard in this race. And this one had a 13 Reincarnate in November. That was the first race off of turf. Turf didn't look good, 218s. Runs the 13 in November at Santa Anita. Comes back with the predictable bounce to a 17 right after that. But that's a win. Comes back after that, first race this year, runs an 11. So goes right back to where you want to see the horse. Follow the bounce, not just improve off the last number, the bounce number, but improve off of the previous top, and only improves it 2 points. Perfect. Nice. Like the way that's set up. The horse has been in the money 5 times, first or second in all 5 races. And I can get double the amount it looks like than the 1 or the 2. So when I see the 6 as an 11 and I see the 1 as an 11, I can get double on Reincarnate. Hence, that's part of the reason why I'm saying I'm going to go ahead and go that way. Also, this horse has run at this distance before, just like the 1. The 1 didn't fare so well. Reincarnate, that was the 13. That was the race that he kind of not just changed the surfaces for the first time, but also had his, at that point, best race. Okay, so that's why I'm looking at 5, 6, and 1. Those are the 3 favorites. But no big surprise that I would call those 3 out to start. But the question is it going to finish with those 3? And if it does, nobody's making money in this race. So let's try to find a way to make money in the race. And we'll go through it. Now, Powerful's a long shot. The 2 horse at 20-1. 14 to start the career. That's impressive, but hasn't gone back to that. A couple of 16s. That's about it. This is, by the way, the first of 3 straight horses for Asmussen. But yeah, I don't see nothing there. Now, Red Route 1 to 10-1 shot. Asmussen, this is a closing horse. Torres is having a nice meet, but you got the bounce situation with the 13 last time out. Okay, we're basically barely a month since that last race, so I'm definitely afraid of the bounce here. Also, the horse has only got 1 win in 6 starts. All right, we're talking about Derby hopefuls. So I'm not, and this horse has attempted it 4 big races, as you can see. Breeders' Cup, you got a grade 1, grade 2, 2 grade 3s, didn't win any of them. The good news is the last race at Oaklawn, at this distance, was the best race, the 13. Again, didn't win, but came second. So, and now it was on sloppy track. So you can just hope. And by the way, it wasn't close. As you can see, it was 5 lengths back of the winner. But this was still, if you're looking for a long shot, I was initially saying, okay, maybe Red Route 1 is someone to keep an eye on. The 4, Gun Pilot, another bounce candidate. Love the line, 17, 16, 12. But now you're talking about sort of like what I said with one of the horses in the last race. You got another horse that is going to be running a 3rd race since January 14th. So that's a lot. And the last race, the February 4th race, was a 12. And now you're going to get just, if you don't bounce here, it'll be surprising. So at 8-1, I mean, that's a good thing, is that the sheet line is nice. The 12 is nice. The trainer rider's nice. 8-1's on that fringe, though, of, well, don't go lower than that. But if I can go 8-1 or higher, okay, then maybe I would consider the 8 as a potential long, excuse me, the 4 as a potential long shot play. But right now, not where I would put him in as far as my top 2. And that's only because I just see the bounce like right there in front of my face, and that's concerning. The 7 is Confidence Game. Now this is a 15-1 shot, and you really like the way this horse started his career last year. 24, 23, 22, 18, 14. Boy, that looked great. Now the 14 was a 4-point top, but he had a 4-point top previous, 22, 18, 14. And had a little bit of extra time off from late November all the way till last month. So the 16 was a little surprising. If it was closer, I'd go, oh, that's just a predictable bounce. But the 16, maybe a little bit concerning. That was that Lecomte race, the grade 3. Never really had a chance in that race. And really, if you look at it, the 2 grade 3 races, the best competition that this horse has faced were really 2 pretty bad results, the worst results he's had so far, which is why the horse is 15-1. But the horse is 15-1. So if I'm looking for another long shot to consider, well, there you go. But these are the 2 that I'm considering the most. And Talladega, the 8, is going to be my top long shot that I'm going to throw in there and try to make some money off of. You got Pratt on board, so that's awesome. He went he did. He went wire to wire in his last start with Pratt. Broke his maiden in that one. So now he's got to come back, but he's also coming back from that 16. Matter of fact, this horse is pretty much solid in his sheet line, but he's had a long way to go. Started with a 30. So 30, 23, 22, 16. So he's headed in the right direction. The problem is that, again, you've got the one problem is, the main problem is the same bounce factor we just talked with the other horse. That was 8-1. Here's the difference. This one's 30-1. So I can play a little bit more here with the 8 and risk it because I'm getting 30-1. So that's why I'm figuring, all right, I got to throw, and I'm getting a trainer that has had, is off to a really excellent meet so far. The owner thought of this horse very highly, paid a lot of money. You put Pratt on him one time, got the win. Pratt's right back on. So I'm willing to roll the dice to try to make some money on Talladega. The 9 is the other long shot that I was considering, and this is why. Event Detail started on dirt at Churchill last November with a 19. All right, well, that wasn't very good. Finished 6th. Changed over to synthetic, okay, over at Turfway Park. And in 2 races, ran a 12 and an 11. Now, that's really good. The problem is that unlike grass to dirt, synthetic to dirt is just completely different. And so I can't really say, well, the 12 and the 11, well, that should pretty much compute over to the dirt. That's not really going to go as well. Plus, I just have a much better option with the 8, considering I've got a much better trainer-rider combination. So that's why the 8 was the way I was going there. Now, quickly, the other 2 horses, Bourbon Bash, a 20-1 shot, is coming off a 12 last time out. So that's really nice. That's the D. Wayne Lucas horse. But problem is that was February 4th. So that's a 4-point top. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. It's a 1-point top. Ran an 11, August 2022. But hasn't come close to that since this race. And after the 11 went to a 26. There's much better long shots in the field. But hey, if this horse turned around and somehow found his way in the money and is coming off a 12, okay, well, good luck to you. And the 11 is Frosted Departure. Did end the year strong. 32, which was really bad, but 16, 14, 13. That's really nice to end the season strong. But that was all at shorter distances. Went back to a mile and a 16th in that grade 3 race last month, around a 15, went backwards a little bit. I just like other long shots in the field. So if I was looking, again, Gun Pilot, I will consider, and even the 3, Red Route 1. These are a couple of long shots I would consider, and you know the reasons why I gave you that. But the odds have got to be there. But out of all the long shots, I am going to target Talladega as the top one. I still think it's going to be hard, though, overall, for any of these horses to get inside of 2 of the 3 top horses, the 1, the 5, and the 6. I go with Giant Mischief, the 5. And that's going to wrap it up. I have to post this right now. It is almost 3 o'clock, so we went almost a half hour. And again, best of luck to Chad coming back overseas. Hopefully that goes well. We get him back next week. Things are going to start getting really interesting here with the Derby. Hopefully you had an opportunity to check out the Derby, the pre-Derby. Well, we did like a Derby prep roundup that's available on the channel. If you haven't already seen that, check that out. I posted it earlier in the week, so you can check that out. Basically, we went over all of the Derby prep races before that. Oh, and by the way, I should say, we are coming off, wherever I have it here, we're coming off a nice week. I think you guys know. We did a pretty good job last week. I don't know where my stuff is, but was it Pioneer and Medina came through for us? That was a win. That was a really good one. So we were pretty stoked about that one last week, and we also did pretty well making money off of. Remember, we told that other stakes race, the Derby prep race, was wide open. There were a lot of horses to consider, and 2 of those horses that wound up coming in first and second actually, and had a really good payout in the exacta with 2 horses that we were, hey, these are good horses, keep an eye on them, play them at your wish kind of deal, and hopefully you made some money off of it. So I think we've been doing pretty good over the last few weeks. Let's hope we can continue this because things are going to get a lot more interesting as we all know real soon. You can. Hopefully, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss one of these shows. And as soon as they're available and I post them, like on a day like this when we don't have much time left. And like the like button. The like button and the comments and the sharing of the video. Those are underrated, very important details that really help out the channel. So we appreciate all the help that we can get from you guys. And if you have any races that you would like for us to handicap, I know we did have one of our viewers had asked about one of the Saudi races, but obviously we couldn't get in touch with Chad, which is the reason why we couldn't get back to you on that one. But normally you let us know if there's a race, and if we don't break down that race for whatever reason, we will give you a pick. Chad will let you know what he thinks about that race. So all you got to do is in the comment section, let us know about a race that you would like for us to talk about, and we'll do our best to let you know what we feel about it. So thanks for tuning in. Best of luck today. And again, hopefully we'll see Chad next week, and we'll see you next week as well.